Union. He knows exactly what a police state is, and he says what we've got now is far more dangerous because of the technological leverage that they have.
Yeah, I agree completely. I mean, within the past year alone, since I've been here, I mean, it's just spiraled out of control.
Yes, yes. That's the problem. You know, because we don't have any constraints over the people in government, you know, we're seeing exponential growth in technology, okay? It is rapidly, and that's something that's been going on for decades. What people don't realize that has also been going on for decades is the misapplication of that technology, okay? It isn't just so much that we've got artificial intelligence which can be targeted on a very specific population, on a very specific problem or whatever. It's that we've got men of artificial integrity in office, and they're going to misuse that technology. That's what Eisenhower warned us about. He said that all the research was going to be taken over. When he talked about the military-industrial complex, he also talked about how all the research would be taken over by the universities, the university research would be taken over by the military-industrial complex, and they would turn the technology into a very dangerous purpose. And that's what we see happening with DARPA research and the weapons that they're creating.
I mean, we have a criminal presidency in general. I mean, if you and I wanted to go to the White House tomorrow, and if we were late on taxes or anything like that, we wouldn't be able to be around the president. We wouldn't be able to be like within 100 yards of him, yet set foot on White House property. Meanwhile, you're allowed to bring in a criminal thug like Al Sharpton, who owes millions of dollars. So we have this criminal operation, and then they're allowing criminals to come in there as well.
Or you can have Anwar al-Awlaki that dines at the Pentagon multiple times. I mean, and then he has to be one of our first and highest profile drone assassinations. You know, he sets the precedent for it because he's the person who is so dangerous. Well, if he's so dangerous, why was he advising the Pentagon on terrorism, right? It's because these guys are running both sides of it, just like they ran both sides of the war on drugs and continue to run both sides on the war on drugs. I mean, it's pretty obvious to everybody that they're funding the terrorists, that they tried to get this war going in Syria. Now they've got it going in Syria. They've got it going in multiple places. You know, one of the things that I thought was interesting, Joe, I'll just throw this out, get your comments on it. Antiwar.com had an article up talking about protesters in Saudi Arabia, protesting this war that Saudi Arabia has gotten involved in Yemen. And I thought that was a pretty amazing thing. They had 2 people killed, 30 protesters wounded as Saudi forces attack an anti-war rally. I mean, that shows you that in Saudi Arabia, there are people that have the guts to stand up to an authoritarian state. And you're not going to find an authoritarian state any worse than Saudi Arabia. Yeah. I mean, they're our allies, okay? And they've had the best of our technology, the best of our help in terms of setting up, just as we did in Iran, setting up the Savak under the Shah.
I mean, it's only going to be a matter of time before something like that happens here when people start protesting. I mean, it's happened before, but on a much larger scale. And then you have all these operations happening. Jade Helm, there's a dirty bomb exercise this Saturday in California in Richmond. There's another disaster preparation thing that's going to be happening here in Austin at the end of the month. I mean, all these drills are happening, and it all looks like it's pushing in that martial law direction.
Yes.
You know, against, you know, public insurrection where people are standing up and quite frankly just pissed off at what the government's doing. Yeah. And it's going to get to a point where they start mowing down crowds of people out there.
Yes.
Using the National Guard, using all these people, and that's the scary thing. I just hope it never gets to that point.
Exactly. As I look at this, I think, you know, when I first saw this article, I thought, wow, that is a gutsy group of people to go into Saudi Arabia and stand up and protest. Because, I mean, you know, people get flogged, they get beheaded, they get their hands cut off for virtually nothing in that country. I mean, they have, you want to talk about beheadings, there's been more beheadings by our allies, the Saudis, than there have from all the purported terrorist events, even if those are all real, and a lot of them look very much like they were manufactured.
It's like you say, you judge someone by the friends they keep around. You know, the people that we keep in our corner aren't really doing very great humanitarian type things. And we're definitely becoming a reflection of that.
And if you don't punish the bad people in the crowd, I mean, that's the point I was making when I was talking to Paul Joseph Watson. As Frank Serpico said, police are like any other group. When you pull people in, you're going to have good people, you're going to have bad people. You can have bad journalists, you can have bad police, you can have good journalists. But if you don't purge it out, then it becomes institutionalized. Then it becomes systemic. And that's the whole issue, too, with this Rolling Stone situation. Because they did not do anything about it, now they're opening themselves up for legal issues. But what do we do about an over-the-top police. We're going to take your calls when we come back from the break. Thanks so much for letting us know what you know about this Barrett Brown situation. We're going to keep looking at it, and we're going to do our best to try to talk to him again. We're not going to let them censor that. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You know about RVs, you've heard about bunkers, but surviving is not recreation, and man wasn't made to live underground. Introducing Survivalist Camps, the ultimate fully functional off-the-grid survival bug-out house that's mobile, well-equipped, and custom-built to outlast any other RV or trailer. Go to survivalistcamps.com to learn more. That's survivalistcamps.com, providing your basic needs to survive. Survivalistcamps.com.
Hey, Boomer! I learned in school today that 60% of our bodies are made of water. Good thing we have the Berkey system. It's the cleanest, best water ever. Mom says it's because the Berkey's filtration system cleans out the bad stuff and leaves only pure, delicious water. I know, right? You love it too. Yeah, I'm thirsty too. Let's go get some. Get Berkey clean water by calling 877-886-3653. That's 877-886-3653. Or visit GoBerkey.com.
Used since before the days of the Roman Empire to support the body's natural systems and enhance overall health. Introducing the new InfoWarsLife.com Oil of Oregano formulation, a highly advanced nutraceutical form of this key herb that has been traditionally used by civilizations for thousands of years to promote health. We have now procured the most high quality and potent forms of oregano oil on the market, sourced from top leading manufacturers to ensure a concentrated level of bioactive ingredients, extracted directly from the wild herb and sealed in easy-to-use capsules. You will no longer need to endure the burning of liquid oregano on the tongue. Wild crafted from the Mediterranean oregano species that experts agree is one of the most powerful and most challenging to acquire. This winter season, it's more important than ever to secure this true form of oil of oregano. Now available in our limited first run at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com or call 888-253-3139.
The human body is extraordinary. Despite all the stresses we inflict upon it, it still works hard to stay in balance. Thousands upon thousands of people rely upon Heart and Body Extract to help their body stay balanced. This excellent 100% natural herbal formula helps maintain healthy blood pressure levels, cleans arteries, promotes good circulation, balances cholesterol, and more. HB Extract, paired with healthy lifestyle choices like good nutrition and exercise, can give you a life free of pain, sickness, and fear. Recapture your youthful vitality and experience your body healing itself with the aid of HB Extract. It's extremely effective and it starts working in just days. Visit hbextract.com to learn more and to read scores of testimonials from satisfied customers. And we've never increased our price in over 10 years. That makes Heart and Body Extract as great a value now as it was the first day we sold it. A healthy heart is a happy heart. Call 866-295-5305 or go to hbextract.com.
As the New World Order continues to tighten its grip on every facet of our lives, we're all asking ourselves, how can we maintain our independence? The answer is clear. Get prepared, and you get prepared now. Now the only question left is, where do we begin? My Patriot Supply is here to help. Call 800-247-3070 to get started with your 72-hour emergency food supply for only $10. We're even covering the cost of shipping. Are you willing to rely on the government and FEMA in the event of an emergency? Call 800-274-3070 to get started with your 72-hour emergency food supply for only $10. You won't be able to find this deal online, and there is a strict limit of 4 per caller, so don't wait. Call now, 800-274-3070. That's 800-274-3070. Call right now.
Your own personal.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, your host. We're going to go to your phone calls here in just a moment. We're going to go to Harvey, Frank, Andrew, Sean. Some of the first ones we're going to go to. So hang on. We'll be right with you. Before we do, I just want to let you know quickly that we now have Super Male Vitality back in the new formulation. This has a key new ingredient, fulvic acid. It will enhance the entire formula's ability to work in your body. And of course, this is something Dr. Groups have been working on since the initial testing of 5 years ago. Again, you can get that at InfoWarsLife.com, or you can call 888-253-3139. That's 888-253-3139, InfoWarsLife.com. And we have it back in stock now, the new formulation of Super Male Vitality. Let's go to Harvey in Florida. Harvey, you live in Florida. What do you think about Jeb Bush? It looks like that's what you wanted to talk about.
Oh, yeah, I really wanted to speak about something else, but you said it's like saying Niagara Falls to me. This is the third generation of a Nazi-loving family.
Mm-hmm.
And the Nazis that took over this country, I mean, that tape that you had with him admitting how he loves the NSA because that protects the interest of the Nazi ruling party that took over this country. His father
Yes.
was in the CIA, which oversaw the building up of the police states through the NSA. And the one time we ever needed the NSA, which is to prevent 9/11 and things like that, well, they were nowhere to be found because their job is really to protect the interests of the people like Bush. What do you think about that?
Oh, absolutely. And if you hear that clip between him and Hugh Hewitt right after the shooting at the NSA, and of course, we say the shooting at the NSA, it sounds like they were shooting at the NSA. It was the NSA that was shooting, the security guards that were shooting at them. But of course, you know, they're trumping that up, saying, oh, this is why we need to have this dragnet surveillance state. Look, it is not to protect your civil liberties, as Jeb Bush says. Anybody that believes that is a blithering idiot. This doesn't protect anybody's civil liberties. It destroys your civil liberties. It destroys the rule of law. Even if they were to stay within the confines of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, which was put in place because of the exposures of what the CIA was doing by Frank Church. And guess who they got in place after they got rid of some of the people at the CIA? It was George H.W. Bush. He went into the CIA. He was the guy that they put in to rebuild and to get around any restrictions that were put in there. Look, anybody that buys that, you could sell them a Brooklyn Bridge or anything. That's absolutely absurd and obnoxious to hear that kind of talk coming from Jeb Bush. But of course, what do you expect from somebody that talks about his campaign as Homeland Security and how they're going to take out homegrown threats to his campaign? I tell you, Harvey, I was done with Jeb Bush and his brother, and I think most people should be done with them. I mean, well, for a long time, but I'll just say this. The Christians should get a clue when they watch the way these two guys behaved in the Terry Schiavo case. If you want to give these guys a pass and say, you know, I don't really care how they destroy the rule of law because I know the Bush family are good Christians. I mean, I've heard Christians tell me that. And it's like, you know, they don't realize what they have done. But we don't need a system that needs good men in place to work. We need to make sure that we've got a system of checks and balances. And the Bush family has done more than anybody else, except maybe the Clintons, to destroy that. Of course, Obama's been pretty active too, every one of these presidents. But he's not going to do anything to restore that. And I got to say that anybody that believes all these phony stories about their evangelical experiences need to look at the fruit of what came out of these two guys. Look at how they allowed a probate judge to shut off food and water to a dying woman against the wishes of half of her family. What would it hurt to give that woman food and water? Yet they arrested people who wanted to do that. What are your comments, Harvey?
You know anything about the history of Jeb Bush? You know, he traded on his family's connections and his family's wealth that was all generated by the police state. He was the Nigerian water pump salesman. Look that up. Do a Google search for the Nigerian Jeb Bush, the water pump salesman to Nigeria. Inside dealing, inside trading, accused of a tremendous crime there. He also was involved with the Sunrise Savings and Loan, where he shystered a buildings. There's a typical guy that was born on third base and thinks he hit a home run.
Yeah.
He's an inside wheeler dealer trading on his family's wealth, and these are nothing but literally a third-generation Nazi scumbag. That's what we're dealing with here.
Yes, and you're talking about the...
even show his face in public, he should be pilloried.
And you're talking about the connections that that George H.W. Bush's father had with Averell Harriman and the Nazi financing. Yeah, people need to take a look at the Panama Deception, and they also need to take a look at this new documentary, the journalist, I think, or the writer with no hands. Look that trailer up. That's an interesting premise about what maybe was behind the attack on Panama. Stay with us. We're going to be right back with your calls.
We're on the march.